I think we are live now. The Insiders Room is now live, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here to give out lots of soccer picks today. I am joined by our soccer expert. He had a big day for himself. He posted a whole bunch of winners in our Discord, so we can get to the bottom of all those winners, and he's got a whole bunch more picks to give out here. We're going to be talking, I think, Premier League, but also Turkish soccer and Greek soccer and lots of different leagues and even more obscure leagues than that, if you consider those leagues obscure. But we'll bring him in here now. Here he is, AM Plus Money. Hey, man.
How's
How
it
are
going? I'm good. It's been a wild day. Some of these soccer matches.
Indeed. And so, did you want to go over quickly about some of the picks that you had in our Discord there today? You said you had a big day, especially with the picks that you posted in the Discord, the Insiders Room Discord.
Yeah, for sure. So I had two losses on the day in the Greek Cup. The Air Salonika had a draw there, and that ended up being 2-1. Now, Athens ended up advancing into the next round. They had to play extra time after the 90 minutes. But yeah, that one was crazy because it was 1-0, and they took a penalty away from Athens. They could have tied it 1-1 there. Then in the 90th, they go up 2-0 and then come back 2-1 and send it into extra time. So that one was a loss on the day. A couple wins we had: Atalanta money line and the over 3 in that match. First 10 minutes, Lazio goes up 2-0. All of a sudden, slowly throughout the game, Atalanta was just dominating 70% possession. I never had a doubt they couldn't come back. They win that game 3-2. Two big wins there. Another one I gave out was I gave a Slavia Prague on the money line and them to keep a clean sheet. They get a nice 1-0 victory today, so that was a good one. For sure. I lost on the CD Alavés, draw no bet. They lose 1-0 to Osasuna, which was a surprise to me. Osasuna has not been playing well since we came back from the break, especially on the road to get that win. That's going to be a little bit of a confidence booster for them. So I'm going to be watching that going forward. But yeah, pretty well day. Probably my best bet on the board today was Wolfsburger in the Austrian League, and they just second half team there, come 0-0 at halftime. They come out, bang, bang, 2-0, get a solid victory there.
Nice work. And so, did you have any EPL today?
I did not. I had a few of the games on. I gave out one more loss. I had Newcastle on the money line. That one I expected Newcastle. I expected more from them, especially coming off a 3-0 victory to Sheffield at home. They're at home again. I was expecting them to get a big win. They went up in the 60th minute, and then they just let Aston Villa tie it up in the 80th. So that was a disappointing one. But other than that, overall good day. I don't really like to. EPL I can find is tricky. I watch the big matches. Those are the ones I find value on. All these smaller teams, like, you never know what's going to happen. There's always something wacky going on in that league.
Right. Well, that leads into our free picks. And so did you have, I think you were looking at that Man City game tomorrow, but then maybe you took that one off the board. But you did have some other ones in the Turkish league.
Yeah, so I was initially leaning to Man City in that game against Chelsea. I went back though and I changed my mind because I don't know. At first I thought Man City, they're coming off a 5-0 and a 3-0 victory since the break. Mm-hmm. So they're just firing on all cylinders right now. It's hard not to go against this team. But Chelsea's not an awful team. They went down 1-0 to Aston Villa, but they came back and won that game 2-1. They scored two quick goals in the second half there. So Chelsea's a tricky team. I don't know if I want to really go against them necessarily, but I don't know if they'll win the game. So I'm just staying off the side for now. But I definitely think there's going to be scoring in that one. So play I have for that is over 3 at plus 105. That's the Asian handicap. Because the way I look at it, Chelsea only has one loss in their last 7 games, and they got a win since the break started. So they're off on a good foot right now. They only have one loss in their last 5 home matches. So playing well at home. Their last 4 matches straight have gone over 2.5. So they're definitely trending to the over right now. Mm-hmm. And 3 of those 4, both teams scored. So I know you were looking at that. And I definitely think both teams are going to score in this match because these are 2 very good teams.
And that's at like minus 140 that I had seen earlier.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to remind everyone that at the end of this, AM is giving out a lot of picks, and he'll make sure to tag me on Twitter, tag the Insiders Room there with all of these picks that he's giving out there, because we're moving pretty quickly here. And so you can check that out also in our Discord and all of the different social media spots, just to get a quick review at the end there. All right. Well, is that the only EPL one that you have going for?
Yeah,
for
so
tomorrow?
that's the only one I got going. I definitely like the over 3. You could try and take both teams to score an over 2.5, because I think both teams are going to score in this one. I expect lots, but like I said, Man City's got 8 goals in 2 games since coming back from the break.
Mhm.
Chelsea, they're not an awful team at home, so I expect them to definitely put up a fight here. Man City, they only got 1 loss in their last 5 too, and they're just killing it. 3 wins, 2 losses on the road. That's why I kind of stayed off the side, because they do have 2 losses on their last 5 road matches. Definitely something I don't want to back there, especially against a team like Chelsea, who has the talent definitely to put up with Man City, because they lost to Tottenham and Manchester United. So definitely teams with the same tier.
Right.
And yeah, basically, even in the head-to-head, the last 2 between these 2 teams have gone over 2.5. So I think the over 3 is just a solid play, getting it at the Asian handicap. So not paying on the juice on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about some of the other leagues here? Is that the only Premier League? I guess, because after that, that's the end of the regular season at that point, isn't it? For the EPL.
Well, I think there's still a few more games after that, but yeah. We're definitely closing in. Liverpool, with that win today, basically locked it up. They're 2 points away from clinching the title. So they're definitely, they're definitely going to get that. Man City, really, their only motivation is, I don't think they can even catch Liverpool at this point. Liverpool would have to lose out, basically. So Man City, basically, they have to just stretch the gap between them and Leicester and Chelsea. But right now, they have a solid 6-point lead, I think. And it's Leicester. They even have a game in hand of Leicester. So I don't see either of those teams catching up. They basically have it sealed away. That's why I'm afraid Man City might start resting players going forward. So you got to watch that with Liverpool and Man City for sure when you're betting on those games. Like, as we saw, even though Liverpool won today at home, the other day they were in Everton and they rested Salah and they ended up drawing that game 0-0. So definitely got to watch that going forward.
Right.
But really, for my next few plays, we're going to be going over to the Spain La Liga.
Okay.
Some Spanish soccer. So the first one I got, we're going to go over to the Eibar and the Valencia game. Now, both these teams, not too impressive to me. Valencia, I know they made it to Champions League, but they have not been performing well in the league this year, especially on the road. This is a game that's going to worry me, definitely. Mm-hmm. Since we came back from the break, Eibar has 2 draws and a loss, and the 1 loss was to Real Madrid, so it's not like they're playing awful. They are holding their own. It's not like they're just losing out. And Valencia, they have a win, a loss, and a draw since they came back. So, like I said, nothing impressive on that front. Mm-hmm. In their last 6 road games, they have 4 losses and 2 draws. And I've noticed a trend in the Spanish La Liga. The best team on the road in Spain is Real Madrid. Their win percentage is just a little over 50%.
Right.
And that's the best road team in La Liga, 50% win percentage. So they have 8 wins, and they have, I think, 4 draws, 3 losses. So when you break that down, it's 8 wins and 7 others. So win percentage on the road, that's something I look for, because you can definitely be playing draw no bets on the home teams, on some of these away teams like the Atleticos and the Valencias, because they're not performing on the road. Valencia themselves has a 3-3-8 record on the road this year. 8 losses, 3 draws, 3 wins. I'm not trusting a team with my money that has 3 wins on the road all season to go into Eibar and just change that, especially coming back from this pandemic break. Okay. But so Valencia, they won the last matchup between these 2 teams. Mm-hmm. The 6 games before that matchup, they hadn't got a win against Eibar. It was 4 wins for Eibar and 2 draws. So definitely the series history worries me here, because Valencia tends to struggle against Eibar, and the last time they actually won a game in Eibar was in 2014. So we're talking going on 7 years now. So I definitely think a solid play in this one is Eibar draw no bet at plus 100 because, like I said, Eibar, they got 2 draws and a loss coming out of that break.
Yep.
They're going to be hungry for getting that first win. They're not playing awful, and they're going to be at their home field here. It's not like they have to travel. So I'm feeling good about an Eibar draw no bet. Valencia is nothing special on the road.
Right. And even money there. And so listen, you are the resident soccer expert here at the Insiders Room, and I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing all of your knowledge. And so, are we staying in the Spanish league, or are we moving on to something else here?
Well, I appreciate you having me on, but yes, we're going to be staying in the Spanish league. I got one more match in La Liga.
Yeah,
it's going to be the Real Betis versus Espanyol match.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Real Betis, their record doesn't show it. They got 2 losses and 1 draw since coming back from the break. So nothing special. But I watched their last 2 matches, and they're hungry. They're going to get a win against Espanyol. Espanyol is nothing special. They're a team that they made it to Europa League, and they did quite well there. But they're in a relegation spot right now. It's like they completely just threw away the season to focus on Europa, and they had a few things. They fired their coach in the middle of the season. Like they were just not trending in the right direction. They're an up and down team. One day they could score 4 goals, the next day they just get shut out. Like, this is not a team you want to trust, especially on the road. Real Betis only has 1 loss at home in their last 5, so definitely they play well on their home field. And so the last 2 matches I watched them play, they were losing 1-0 to Granada, and they were dominating that game. Around the 60th minute, I put in a double chance on Real Betis, and in the 80th, they get a penalty kick, tie the game. All of a sudden, 2 minutes later, they score again, 2-1. Now, they ended up letting in a fluke goal in the 90th to tie that game 2-2. But still, they came back, and Granada did not deserve to win that game, and they knew it. They played like that. And then last week, I had Athletic Bilbao on the money line. That ended up cashing, but that was a 1-0 win. And when I was watching that game, again, Real Betis on the road had 65% of the possession that entire match. And at no point in my head did I say Athletic has this locked up. I was very worried for my bet in that one because Real Betis was just coming at them at left, right, and center. So I definitely think Betis gets a win here. My play is Betis on the money line at plus 105. Again,
that's
plus money.
Good value, yeah.
But yeah, also in the head-to-head between these 2 teams, Betis hasn't lost a match in their last 6. So I definitely think that they're getting their first win since the break here today.
Have you hit a couple of big draws in the last week?
Yes. I what was it? I hit a draw the other day. I'm blanking on it. I smoke a lot of weed, so my memory is not the greatest. But yeah, I did. I think it was in the Spanish league too. It was one of those, and it was Sevilla. That's what it was. It was Sevilla. I forget who they were playing with. That game tied 2-2, and yeah, that one screamed draw to me. Like I said, the away record. Those were 2. Oh, it was Villarreal. That's who it was. Sevilla versus Villarreal, and those were 2 good teams.
Nelson here. He's saying, "Thank God I took Roma to win." If you know Nelson on Twitter.
Oh, of course.
But he's
I met
also
him in the bar once. Shout out to Nelson.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's saying AM here, and he's saying, "Thank God I took Roma to win."
Man, you should have been sweating during that when they were down 1-0 at halftime.
Right.
That was I stayed away from that one because I did not trust Roma today. That was one that definitely scared me, or else I would have threw it on my big parlay. But
and so once again, all of these picks that AM is giving out, he's going to post these not only on Twitter, and he'll tag the Insiders Room, but he will also post that in our Discord for everyone to see.
Yes.
And in just a little bit, you guys, we are going to have on a few of the other guys, including Dan Kaiser from Covers Experts, and we're going to be talking about baseball. And so those guys should be on shortly. We're just going to finish up here with AM Plus Money. And Nelson says he took them at the half. He actually took them at half. Right.
Yeah, I wasn't following that. I was watching the Atalanta game.
Right.
So my eyes were glued to that one. My God, what a match.
Right. Now he's saying Sampdoria makes lots of mistakes and kicks themselves all the time.
Oh yeah, Sampdoria, they're not a well-organized team. They can score. They definitely can score goals, but so can Roma. So
all right.
You
so
the next play, we'll go over to Denmark.
Okay.
And here we got Copenhagen and Midtjylland. So this is the two best teams in this league. Fantastic teams to watch, Copenhagen and Midtjylland. Midtjylland's actually in first place. Now, Copenhagen is the reigning champion of the league, as they're in Europa League at the moment. But Midtjylland is just crushing them in the table. They're a solid 9 points ahead of them, and they've been like that all season. So this is definitely a team that they know how to play Copenhagen. These are both two really good teams. So Copenhagen doesn't have a loss in their last 5 since coming back from the break. They've played exactly 5 matches, and they've been crushing it. 3 wins and 2 draws to be exact. And they've won both their home matches since coming back from the break. They only played 2 home, and they won both of them. Now, Midtjylland, they have 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss since coming back from the break. But interestingly enough, they've won both their road matches coming back. Now, this one is funny to me because not only do we have the 2 best teams in the league, but we have the best home team in Copenhagen at 12-1-1 going up against the best road team in Midtjylland at 13-1-0. So
there you go. It's a classic.
Yeah. Considering you got Midtjylland hasn't lost a game all year on the road, and Copenhagen only lost the 1 game in their own building all year.
You're thinking competitive. Oh, looks like we lost AM Plus Money there, and that's too bad. He was just getting to his picks there. But you know what? We can segue quickly into our next guest who's going to be talking baseball. He's coming on a tiny bit early, but I appreciate that. He's a regular on the Insider's Room. Here he is. It's Dan Kaiser. What's up, Dan?
Nothing much. Just
getting ready. Something happened there.
Just riding the wave of are we having sports or not having sports? Seems like every day.
Exactly. And this, let's not try to jump into that part of it. Let's just pretend that baseball is coming back. And so how do you handicap this season? Personally, I think staying away from futures and all the rest of it, I can't recommend that to anyone just because of the volatility. It's just such a short season. There's no precedent